Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Erev Shabbos, Parshas, Vayishlach. And we find ourselves in the middle of Yaakov's life, and it's not an easy one. He, in the last week's Parsha, had to deal extensively with Lavan, the trickster. Someone once asked me, why is Lavan's name Lavan? Lavan is like the ultimate guy who tricks everyone. So why is he called white? Lavan means white in English. Shouldn't his name be something else? White means like pure, emes. So I said, no, fakert. He's such a good trickster that his name is Lavan. He comes across as being Lavan, as being white, and even though he's the biggest trickster. And this week's Parsha, Yaakov comes into contact with Esav, trying to figure out a way that he shouldn't be killed by Esav, that he shouldn't be too close to Esav. And before he meets Esav, he sends gifts. Gifts are sent to Esav. Question number one to ask at your Shabbos table is, why did Yaakov send gifts to Esav? What was the point? What was the purpose of the gifts? That's question number one. And question number two is more general, to do with Yaakov and Lavan in last week's Parsha. Was Yaakov successful? Was Yaakov successful with Lavan? Lavan was a trickster. Barachel bit, and Yaakov got tricked into marrying Leah. And he got tricked into working for Lavan for all those years. At the end of the day, who outsmarted who? Who came out as the one who was the most successful in understanding the other guy and how to trick him? And it's a lesson, both the answers to these questions is a lesson for us. Often we deal with people that we can't read them well. So how do you deal with them? We look to the Torah for everything. So how do you deal with a person like Esav, a guy who has so much anger towards me? Right? A guy who literally wants to kill Yaakov. How do you deal with such a person? You're coming to make amends, to make peace. What's the mahalach? A person can find himself in a business partnership or in a shul, let's say, with a person like Lavan. So how do you deal with that? You have to look at how Yaakov dealt with these people for us to know halacha l'maisa in our lives, how to deal with these people. Okay, so let's start with the beginning of the Parshas Vayishlach. So Rashi is clear. The reason why Yaakov is sending the gifts to Esav, that was our question number one. The reason why Yaakov does that is to appease. It's called in Hebrew piyus, to mafayis Esav. Right? When you send gifts, so then you can open up a person's heart. The Brisker Rav used to send gifts to his teachers Melamdim, to his children's Melamdim. And he said that it's usher, it's forbidden to bribe a judge. But you can't bribe a judge, that's against the halacha, it's a Mefurish Pasuk. You can't take shoichet, you can't give shoichet, you can't give bribery. But a Rebbe you can give bribery to, you can definitely bribe a Rebbe. You can, again, they should spend more time on your child. The Brisker Rav held that was permitted. So that's what Yaakov is doing according to Rashi. According to Rashi, Yaakov was trying to butter up, so to speak, Esav, that he should, maybe mellow out, and all the gifts, all the shoichet, all the bribery, he won't have an issue with Yaakov. The Seforno says a very different mahalach, and the Seforno's mahalach is something we can all incorporate into our daily lives, I think, or at least our weekly and monthly lives. So the pasuk starts off by saying, Vayishlach Yaakov malachim. Yaakov sent messengers, Pashup Pshat. Says the Sforno, Ladas ma belev achiv. To know what's in the heart of his brother. L'deya ma yi'asaloi. To find out what he's going to do to him. Unlike Rashi, who learns it was to appease Esav. The Sforno was learning, Yaakov is trying to get a read on Esav. He doesn't know. He left him last. He was very, very upset. He's coming back now. He has to figure out, he doesn't want to come with all his nuclear weapons pointing at Esav, and Esav's like, I love you. Right? He doesn't want to come as like a little brother with his arms stretched open when Esav's going to have guns pointing at him. So he has to figure out where Esav's holding. So he devised a plan to figure out what Esav's thought process is at this point. So the pasuk says the point of the gift was limtzoi chen be'enav, pasuk vav, limtzoi chen be'enav, to find favor in Esav's eyes. Says the Sforno, listen to this. Ki ein safek etzli shetismach al hayois li oisher v'kavod. I have no doubt that you will be happy, you will be pleased that I became wealthy, that people honor me, that I have honor, I have wealth, that I know Esav, my dear brother, is going to make you happy. and I will find favor in your eyes when I let you know about that. So I'm not sending all this stuff for you as a bribe. So now you're going to have it. You're going to have the wealth, and you'll treat me better. No, I'm sending you to show you that this is what I'm giving you. Imagine how much I have. Imagine how much I have in my account, in my real estate, in all my investments, in my animals. And to show you that your brother did really well, and if it's a true ahava, true love, then Esav is going to respond with simcha. Rabbi Kuperman, the one who wrote the Ha'aras in the bottom of this edition of the Sforno, he points out the following. He says, "Hamivchan ha'amiti lekavonos ha'amiti shel azulas." If the true litmus test to know if this person loves me, if the person likes me, it's specifically if he's mishtatif in my simcha, if he takes part in my simcha. A person goes to a funeral, you go to many funerals, even people that you're not that close with, even people that you weren't so friendly with, you didn't like so much. But a chasana, a wedding, a shema brachas, a bar mitzvah, a kiddush, only the close friends come. Only the good friends come. If you want to see where someone else is holding, is he on my team? Is he on my side? Is he mishtatif in my simcha? That's what Yaakov was testing Esav, to see if Esav would be mishtatif in a simcha. So it was all part of a plan, a setup, if you will, to try to get deep down into the recesses of Esav's mind to see where he's holding. So Yaakov seems to have picked up in Beis Lavan, the past 20 years or more, in Beis Lavan, he's picked up how to figure out what you're thinking without you realizing that I'm figuring out what you're thinking. So he was trying to figure out what Esav was thinking without Esav himself realizing. And the same behavior Yaakov displayed in last week's parsha. And listen to this. This is going to answer our second question of who won the ultimate battle of trickery. Was it Yaakov or was it Lavan? Yaakov here won. Yaakov figured out what Esav was thinking without Esav even realizing, right? That's the best. What about Yaakov and Lavan? So back in Perek Lamed Aleph in last week's parsha, there's a changing point in the relationship between Yaakov and Lavan. And that happens in the beginning of Perek Lamed Aleph, where it says, Vayishlach is divrei bnei Lavan, lemar lakach Yaakov es hakol asher la'avinu, me'asher la'avinu asas kol hakavod hazeh. Lavan's children will say, his sons, tell Lavan, Yaakov made all this money off your stuff. If you remember with the sheep, Yaakov took all your wealth away. Vayar Yaakov is play Lavan. Yaakov noticed Lavan's face. And he sees that Lavan is not the same Lavan. He's not the same father-in-law that he was before. Yaakov sees, says the Sforno, Lavan was makabel the lashon hara that his children said about Yaakov. Lavan was makabel lashon hara that his children said about Yaakov. And Lavan, you could tell in Lavan's face that it's not good. So he goes to Rachel and Leah, tells them, listen, Hashem told me, what do you guys think? You got to go. It's whole shmuzim itself. Hashem told him. Why is he asking their opinion? We discussed that many times in the past. Let's go. Lavan goes 3 days in that direction, and they run away in that direction. And then in a couple of days, one day he catches up to Yaakov, the whole back and forth, and Yaakov goes away. Back to this week's parsha. So the pasuk says in pasuk Chaf, Vayignav Yaakov is leiv Lavan. Yaakov stole Lavan's heart. What does that mean? He stole Lavan's heart. I think the pasuk says, "Al bli higid loy." Vayignav Yaakov is Lavan army. Al bli higid loy ki boireachu. Because he didn't tell him he was escaping. Usually when you escape, you don't tell someone. Another discussion, but he didn't tell him he was leaving. Says this morning. Listen to this. Perek Lamed Aleph pasuk Chaf. Shloi her Eloi. What does it mean? He stole Lavan's heart. Yaakov did not show Lavan shehirgish klal b'mashikiba of lashon hara, v'mashlohoy panav im Yaakov kismol shilshoy. Yaakov did not let on that he knew that Lavan was makabel lashon hara about Yaakov, and that he saw that Lavan's approach to Yaakov changed. He saw that Lavan now is very not happy with me. I do not feel secure on Lavan's house, and I must leave. Is that also mipnei shehoy Lavan ha'arami? And he does that because Lavan was Lavan ha'arami. The Sforno is being medayik. Why is he saying the pasuk? Vayignav Yaakov is slave Lavan ha'arami. We know he's from Aram. Baal Mirma, Ramai and Aram, Arami, the same letters. Rabbi Kuperman points out. So Lavan is the Baal Mirma. Lavan is the biggest trickster. If Lavan would have chapped, would have understood, that Yaakov understood that Lavan doesn't like Yaakov anymore, he would have counted all the steps. Lavan would have been very, very careful to not leave Yaakov an opportunity to escape. Yaakov wouldn't have a way to escape. Therefore, he bedafka treated Lavan the same way that he always did, even though he knew Lavan had turned on him. He treated him the same way. He never let him chap where he was, that he understood Lavan. So at the end of the day, that's the ultimate trickery. The ultimate trickery is you chap what the other person is thinking, and you don't let him know that you chap that. You understand, you did a test to see where he's holding, and he doesn't understand that you did that test. So in both these cases, Yaakov displayed an amazing and unbelievable ability to read people that are very hard to read. And in life, this is something that we often come across, people that are hard to deal with, and we have to use Yaakov's techniques in figuring these things out. So the first point, again, is if you want to know if there's a true leibschaft, if there's a true relationship, let's see if they're mishtatif in each other's simcha. Let's see if they are... If they come to their simchas, if they feel good for the other person's simcha, then you know it's a true leibschaft. And in dealing with people like Lavan, one has to be very, very shrewd and figure out how to get information without them knowing. Anyway, unbelievable koiches that Yaakov displayed in dealing with these people. We should be zeichet to incorporate this and be able to apply it in our lives. Wishing everyone a wonderful Shabbos.